podcast affirmation isibuyile asifika ngasigalelekile oyazi ukuthi iyaphusheka iyeza podcast affirmation. Ngicela nje ukuthi before siqale into eyiningi usilandele kuma social pages zethu wenze konke but igama uSizwe Plus namhlanje sivakashelwe uZandile Christopher Bell.
Hayibo Christopher.
Lelo gama and then wakaTembe isibongo namhlanje simfundisa sesanthola uZandile kumini simfuna uZandile mhlawumbe sesino 7 but sifuna uZandile but timing yakhe I think i perfect because ufike kwi-eve yama changes emsakazweni into esifuna ukuzwa kahle what's going on emsakazweni. Why this thing is it because of social media noma into vele ekumele yenzeke ukuthi kube nomsindo ongaka if your radio station ishintsha our program or inhlelo zayo so to speak. Into vele yenzeke
fanele
social media
social media isine impact.
Kodwa masikhumbula mina nawe mhlawumbe ngoba sisondelene neindustry into ebehlezi yenzeka kodwa manje you're seeing ukuthi abantu abaningi sebene voice through i-social media platform yokuthi bayikhulumele ngezinto ezenzakalayo. So yes, it's expected, but it also shows you ukuthi i-social media inomthelela ongakanani.
So ukuthi leyo nto good noma ibad sike story sange.
It's another story, it's an argument engeke iziphele futhi.
Ukuthi ku-right ukuthi ngivele.
Yeah.
Manje fu Zandile kungaventi futhi ngingenayo iplatform yokuthi ngivele. Awuboni bezinto ilento ezenza sigcine sishawa ukhwantalala. Babiza lokhwantalala ugcina usulale ezibhedlela because lento ihlupha uwedwa.
Kungenzeka it's inevitable ukuthi into mangabe ikushaya and remember usemehlweni abantu. So uyayicabanga ukuthi okay izokushaya wena uwedwa ukhale wedwa ukhulume nabakhuluma nabeduze but okusalayo lento isuke isazophuma abantu and bazoba nawo abama opinion. So one, it's a good thing that people can express themselves. The how part is then something that we can look at ukuthi how then do you do it?
If I may ask, my advantages and disadvantages of ukuthi ubone ukuthi this thing is stealing my joy.
Yeah.
And let me share it with the public because ngama followers nami as a person besides the organization engisebenzelayo fanele balazi iqiniso. My dues and kunamaphepha newspapers othola ukuthi nawo at the same time akhipha izitori zawo ngami ezinye engingayiconfirmanga nami ngivuka ekseni ngifunde ngithi kuthiwa awungenzi kanje awukhamba. So awubona ukuthi kubalekile ukuthi ubatshele abantu bakho.
Kubalekile ukuthi ubatshele abantu ngecareer yakho. Okubaleke kakhulu ukwazi ukuthi yini oyitshela abantu because remember ukhuluma nabantu abakwazela kwi-platform ethile could be yes social media or to the platform yomsakazo ukuthi ubatshela in and how far you go. I think lezo zinto ezinye engathi zibalekile in the mentoring and coaching of talent whether they're on television or on radio because no one can ever prepare you for udumo uzolithola and udumo may not necessarily equate to umsebenzi wakho. Umsebenzi wakho has its own imithetho mhlambe yakhona nendlela esebenza ngayo. Mina engiyumlaleli wakho engengize ngiunderstand. So kufanele holistically uzama ukucabanga ukuthi yini ebalekile efanele iphume mengiyikhipha izophuma kanjani. Mina ukhakha lwami liqinile ke nokudila nayo because I can guarantee ukuthi if I go out there and vent and share my truth
because remember it's just your truth ngaleso sikhathi. Abantu bazoyamukela ngalendlela mina soyikhiphe ngayo.
But won't keep up with humility that it deserves.
Humility is subjective.
What you deem a humility act for me may not. The kind of words that you use for me may sit differently. And it's quite interesting that we talk about how then people decipher information because it's the very same thing that radio is supposed to do. Maungabu behind the mic, you're sharing information, but how it lands, Usizo, how it lands to uZandile and someone else is going to be different.
Yes, and ngicela ukubuza because now we were about programs manager we station school ukhozi. Nenza kanjani niyaba prepare labantu lezi I believe isikhathi esinzima leso. Ozongitshela ukuthi kune possibility of terminating the contract yami nama responsibilities as a stage khona leyo, I don't know whether I must call it social responsible on your part ukuthi guys yazothini mhlawumbe these people before we even negotiate ama contract mhlawumbe 4 or 5 months before naye semnandi so that ezoyiprepare phela ukuthi yazothini I'm not too sure whether after 7 months ngizobe ngisasebenza then ngizobe ngenza lokho ngenza. Do you guys prepare them?
Yes and no. The yes part is that from the get-go mangabe sik offerishi contract. Each 12 months, mangabe to 12 months.
Yeah.
So you've got 12 months and less to prepare yourself when I first. But what then goes into me preparing myself? It's that conversation obana no line manager wa what is expected of me. When you snoop, when you do checks, when you do reviews, when the numbers come out, those little areas, okay, these are the numbers. This is how your show is performing. What does that mean for you? If the numbers aren't growing, if the numbers go down, if the money doesn't come in, what will then that mean for me? That conversation is not only a responsibility a line manager, you also have that responsibility. Because remember, 12 months. So now if I do thinking, you know, 12 months to do great.
But you know, 12 months only let's say for argument's sake, only 3 to 6 exceed.
Yeah.
Our advertisers, our architect guys, it's such slots. Understand? I don't think there's much that you're expecting from me. As umuntu umthathe wamgaqa ku 3 to 6 exceed. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with 3 to 6.
Everything is wrong.
No,
no, majority of the people are sleeping.
Yes.
Comply with yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. And that it's we can argue a lot of things because remember, if in figure me unfaga ain't that what you need any bonayo ngam what is the future prospects or yini nifuna ukuyibona because mawusafika nje sikhulume ngomuntu osafika station.
Yeah.
Mhlawumbe sithanda italent lakho, sithanda indlela owenza ngayo delivery yakho, or you seem to understand the disciplines of radio, you understand what the presenter style guide is, you know ukuthi mangabe you switch on the mic, maybe before you switch on the mic, you know ukuthi inefane kuyenze before uqala ungene emoyeni. So abantu be-talent ne-skill somsakazo bafika nezinto ey'hlukahlukene. Abanye bafuna ukulungiswa nokukhuliswa ey'ntweni ey'hlukahlukene. That's why I said ukuthi the preparation starts the time ngikunika i-off. It's not, for me, I still think is neither here nor there because it's determined by a whole lot of things. Yes, arguably 3 to 6 in the morning may not give you the numbers that 3 to 6 in the afternoon. Because audience availability, it goes without saying. What are we doing? One, I want you to get comfortable because menguzo usakazo be comfortable. Or mengikulalela khona izinto ezisakushaye. So we need to lungisa this. How do we see this period of khulisana emsakazweni now ukuthi uzokwazi ukufunda ezinye izinto taking us? Is it going to be a 2-year thing, 3-year thing, whatever? How much time do I have as a station? Yokuthi ngikabsorbe ufunde and ngikexpect ukuthi by which year ukudeliver. Then a lot of factors come into play. The money, the time, the performance of the overall station, the budget of the station, the money that the station is making. Who's paying the piper?
Because whoever pays the piper.
But I need to send it again in Saga's
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that what's in the community radio station.
Sure.
They want to skip campus radio.
Yeah.
But in the community radio station, any responsibility would say it's managing gaining to this person, who many PPS, of which I believe by the responsibility, correct me if I'm wrong. You would spend also would say by a trainer, by a beds in right for this person. Understand that go when go, you are whether I commission rate, of which I believe would say, born neighbors with Bakashubutu or writers of it to leave because they are there to make money.
True.
Understand that? But
I think also it's unfair though, Ungazi, just because a PBS radio station from a mandate perspective, or why, or would see ifundisewe.
Mina mofika kumina uthi, I've been with a community radio station for 5 to 6 years. The expectation is that the basics we all understand. My responsibility is for me to get you into the culture. Like I said, I'm a presenter style guides for different radio stations. The clockwork for a different radio station. You know, having someone who's from a commercial radio station. Community radio station, who had an exceptional understanding of how the clock works. And they were very critical in how a big station doesn't seem to understand how a clock works. You understand? So it's arguable, Uguti, mawfika la fanele train.
Remember, Nami, I need to retain the numbers. They're doing an amazing job. They are. I don't think sibanikeza they are worth enough, and I think still as an industry, asikakakwenza okufanele uku-right for community radio stations and literally train i-talent for radio. You understand?
But the reality is that when you come at a bigger radio station, ama deliverables akhona, they are way beyond the community radio station. We need to deliver on the mandates. We need to make money. We need to keep stakeholders happy. We need the first stakeholder being umlaleli. Fanele abe happy lo muntu. You must retain those numbers. But also fanele ngiphinde ngithola abanye and ngiyangizwa wena ngoba uyisosho ozokwazi ukuthi nawe empini sithola abanye abalaleli ngaphezulu. While sifuna abalaleli fanele mina nawe sisebenzisane ne-department yaka sales ukuthi kungene imali station. Also on the ground, the advent of social media. Are we relevant? Are we present? Are we driving the numbers? Which is another argument. As he told I would say, which means can I equate that to the numbers? Can I quantify that? Does it translate to the business now? That's another argument. So there are so many areas that I think I responsibility for a programs manager. We always argue.
There's about it should be, but realistically, and it brings me to the point who's a program manager, who's a content manager, who's a talent manager. Realistically, can you have this done by one person?
No,
it's not possible. But also, how is it then? Deliver I'm a programs manager, whatever you call it, and a talent manager. Understand what I need as a program, because I'm at strategic level. You understand? Mine is to make sure that we deliver on a quota so that the license to they deliver.
I need to sit nabantu sales. I need to sit with my station manager as well. So for vision achieve. I'm practically PBS fanele ngihlangana nabantu beyinkonzo ukwenza sure ukuthi sideliver i-content fanele ngihlangana nabantu baka sports ngoba fanele ngihlangana nomuntu waka news yabo. So it's not realistic. So the structure in terms of, and I'm going to say this, of black radio, whether it is a public broadcaster or it's a commercial radio, I find and no one wants to talk about the inequalities that are in radio from a white and black radio station. You can call it commercial, you can call it community or whatever. The reality is not the same.
As spend the school man the tempe a programs manager because there is one club because one client produce one a programs manager besides everything about radio. Is that really true or false?
I know as much as I do know, but you can never know everything about radio. It's impossible. Indeed radio, because ukhuluma nabantu abaphilayo abanedingo nempilo eguquguquka ngaso sonke isikhathi. So if there is isiqalo nesiphetho nge-radio where you say you know everything about radio, then you mean you know everything about humans.
As the abantu abasephethe radio station anilibulala ithalente ngalezi zinto zakhona engicabanga ukuthi ngicina sengigijimisa ibusiness more than entertainment yomlaleli. Clock, for instance, I think kukhona indaba ze-clock uthi usakhuluma ufuna ukuraise i-point yakho ezomsakazo ufuna ukudirect isitulo sakho ezomsakazo but qualified cards. I think was SABC ngathi bese be-applya or bahirisha ama-services into ethize vele ikhathi ungakaqedi. Understand leyo? But manje this person ufuna ukuyi-expressa azwakale ithalente lakhe sigcina singasaliboni uthi usakhuluma into sekufake afake i-advert.
wena ulalele laphana ezomphathi ukuthi zonke lezi zinto ziyenze asisalibona ithalente lomuntu kanti uzositshela isikhathi asitshela i-radio station asitshela ilokhuzana ayisekho le creativity
uma radio station akusafani back then maybe you were still young sekhona uKansas City yabona wawuza ukuthi radio iqaqekile ikhululekile understand even no grand chapana for that matter ku radio Metro FM yabona le kwakhona manje uyezwa nje ukuthi umuntu nomsakaza nje khona lento emqinile
yini eqinile ama-adverts
kuningi angithi ama-adverts indaba zeqoqi nje pese fanele udlale asathi ngathi umsakazo uzosusa nje lento afake imwe but abusekho lobumnandi be-radio angabizinyoba be-radio at times because I'm just hearing abasakazi waffling at times bevula imali ukuthi just waffling I don't have time for that and as a result ngicina sengibaleka
mina nginenkinga naloko kushoyo because for me the actual talent and skill is in how then you maneuver zonke lezo zinto because they form part of radio.
How do you, the economy of words?
No, it's the new thing.
It's not. The economy of words.
Yazi ngicela ukuthi bese ngiphendulela sijaphele kule ama-influencers na-radio of which I believe ikakasi in a way because first sibe-quote vele nemsakazo khona in a way I was looking at i-line-up yabo entsha I believe ingenzela isense because though khona umunye ongathi ukhona engazi noma i-talent elikhona yini kodwa phela kusho ukuthi ngoba waqala wavela ku-TV wa-actor wathatha ukushutha talent but this thing yama-influencers too because amsana nani ngoba niphuthumisa imali ngithi phuthumisa ama-numbers and forgetting-ke manje i-talent eradweni i-radio igcina yenze njalo ishona phansi.
But
am I wrong?
In trying to answer you and ngiyabuza la uqhamuka khona.
Then how do I pay you? Because my responsibility is to create a balance. Ekutheni wena ukhule njengomsakazi but also nebhizinisi lisustain because ukuze ukwazi ukwenza umsebenzi wakho kufanele ngikwazi ukuthi ngikunike ukuholela ngomsebenzi osuwenzile. So how then do I ngikwazi ukubona ukuthi uyakwazi ukwenza umsebenzi wakho is when you are able to play with the clock because the clock alisho ukuthi okay mase kulesikhathi usumove. How do you understand ngoba ukusakaza for me like I said akuqali ngalesikhathi uswitcha on imic uyangena to contact to prep before ungena studio so you understand it's okay ngiyangena ngo3 to 6 I've got so many adverts ne ad cluster listen ama cluster ama adverts nginomculo omngaka nokuthi ngine interview le ngikhuluma nayo. How then do I best manage this and I think radio has tried to innovatively come up with solutions for you to better express yourself, deliver on the talent but also deliver on the business imperatives through producers. So masuhle no producer wakho athi produce okay the way program yethu nazi izinto ekumele siyideliver, there needs to be news, there needs to be sports updates, there you have to sit down prepare for that. Into yenza ukuthi abanye abantu bakhuluma undendende eselifuna ukuyi-express ahleke phakathi ngingasayizwa sense or the joke in what you're doing. You are not preparing yourself. You are not understanding ukuthi yini kahle kahle kufanele kuyenza. Also now phela you've got your blind spots. So if you've got long links, how best do you manage ama-links akho ube ukhulumile ngakuzwa ukuthi ufuna ukuthini wangishiya lapha. The nice thing about radio is that mine akusiyo ukuthi ngikhuthuluze yonke into. Mengishiya a point ethini I need to leave you with something ozoyicabanga bese ngiya engomeni mangibuya futhi ngibuye ngiyesa ibhande lethu lento.
But segue.
How you segue exactly. Ibhande and how do you move from this one ihlangane ibe tight. Nginga-mention a lot of abasakazi have shown us ukuthi you can do that. Ube entertaining, ube informative, uphinde futhi ukwazi ukufundisa omunye umuntu.
Ngiyizwe iflay yakho njengomsakazi ukuthi hayi lento iyomile iqedile lo muntu ayazi into ayenzayo.
You've got a point there. But influencers, don't you think they're killing umsakazi? Or you are for influencers?
Mina, I'd say maybe I do understand. And mhlawumbe because izinto ziyaguquguquka enye into esingabi nayo is i-patience yokubona ukuthi umsakazo wezokusakaza ezokuxhumana into ethi media is going through uguquko.
And everyone is trying to see how these things complement each other.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to to really judge umuntu one-influence ekutheni uyi-broadcast just from a social media rant, whether indlela abhala ngayo or indlela akhuluma ngayo. It is very difficult, and I think the biggest challenge any program manager, talent manager, or content manager abhekene nayo manje is how you put this together so that it can make sense. And that's the problem. If you're a true seasoned broadcaster, influencer, like we've got so many case studies where it didn't work. When I was an attraction your social media, all of influencers social media, but I understand what radio is about. And these are two different platforms, and everyone is trying to find a way to bring these things together because this isn't just song stands. So as it isn't are falling off the rails because no one is able to understand.
5-6 years ago.
No, I just provide my social my influencers, it doesn't work for them.
And it doesn't. Some won't work. I'll tell you one thing.
That is why I'm happy with the changes in Kakas.
Okay, I'm glad to be.
I think about 4 Bapumi.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
okay.
Very massive about the berry.
Okay.
Very opportunity to campus association.
Yeah, true.
I don't think it's already a Mafagilan. Especially
in defense for abantu abaseredweni, the thing is also we're gunning for numbers. I think in Telekayo is us knowing what to do with influencers.
How many numbers work?
They work because that's your bragging rights. That's how you sell the platform.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Sini East Coast side.
Yeah.
I don't know banner in a million, but somewhere there. It's 947. I need them to station up. I don't think by 900,000. I don't think, but they are doing exceptionally well in terms of revenue. You understand? My numbers sometimes are my numbers. They are purchasing power.
And this I agree with you. And this is a subject that, as an industry, we keep tiptoeing around.
What makes a station big? You and I know, everyone knows, the industry knows Utuko's is the biggest radio station. What makes it big? Because it's got audiences. But can you argue Utuko's is as big revenue in relation to the numbers? You and I know that's not the truth.
Yeah.
So where's the money going? Why are advertisers finding comfort in putting money in stations that don't have money?
What does it say? I mean, don't have listeners. So what does it say about our industry?
I believe it's a matter of transforming the industry. Because the thing doesn't work. It doesn't only apply to a radio station. Even on my paper.
Exactly.
Because we have paper LTs with 5,000 followers. But because liganja uthole igijima kanje revenue ube nephepha elinenqwaba yabafundi on need to find it.
What does it say about audience? Okay, who are the biggest audiences? Black people. What does it say about us and how the industry views us?
Yeah, I think
we are not bankable. No one thinks we're bankable because the understanding is that we don't have money, we can't spend. How many brands are we made that have argued with the I'm sorry to mention the brand, but how many high profile cars do you see a Lokshin at drive of Mandabanyam? But these people never advertise on our platforms.
Yeah.
Where the very same people that buy these products are there.
Well, about German cars.
Yeah, exactly.
I always
so what does it say about
advertiser? I believe the thing it's another topic for another day. I think transformation is serious. I know maybe after 29 it was okay. So hopefully we'll see easy days will shift, but happy naloma industries are because we talk in research. Try these things. This is a mom.
OPS rents and
no. This is a mom. This is about the adverts. What are this is email. What are the adverts? Agencies are still white. That's the fact. Always a woman's that's understanding and not. So bathi bayawenza ama-research. But back to this topic here, right? Ngizama ukuthola la Zandile indaba yama-rates. Aniwahlanganisa kanjani ama-rates because kathi inzima lento yama-rates yabo?
Okay, commercial will always, my understanding, have higher rates because they are commercially driven. You need to bring in the money. Public broadcasters, community, probably the rates are lower because the mandate is quite different. But here's the thing. My understanding is that a program manager is given a budget from the business. A section of the budget from the business. Yaka programming holistically. So your responsibility is not only to look at rates, but it's to look at how you spend your 12-month budget as cost containment. Everyone's talking about cost containment. As a sustainer, unit yako, but also assistive business. Ukuthi libe khona, liqhubeke liye phambili. Ubheka kanjani? I don't want to talk much about commercial because luckily for them, bona they don't have as much content demand that needs to be paid for, unlike the public broadcaster that needs to pay so many people. You understand? The broadcast costs as well, they come from programming budgets. So how does that look like? And I think you can't divorce the conversation we've just had about ikhongapi imali, ifika kanjani.
How to make money for umuntu lapha elokishini?
Advertising. Lezi ikhangiso lezi ehlezi idlala imali. You do get, I mean, SABC si-rescue kangaki ingena imali. Because they are a public broadcaster.
Private commercial radio stations are sustained by business. The people that own commercial radio stations are business people. So they've got the money to invest into the business as long as it gives them the money. So there's a high level conversation that happens from a radio perspective. By the time you figure out talent at the bottom, levels amaningi ahlukahlukene. Ngiyincome ngiyiphakamise futhi into yokuthi whether uproducer or umsakazi understand uhlelo lwakho in terms of performance, have a very strong relationship with the sales team, understand ukuthi yini efunwa i-advertiser because into ezokwenza ukuthi before kufike the 3 last months, depending on when the contract negotiations happen with your station, you are very clear about how your show is performing. Also now you've got izinto ezicontributayo ezokwenza ukuthi uhlelo lwakho lusimame, both from the numbers that you need to deliver, but also the revenue that you need to drive, but also be available. I don't know if current talent is as available as old talent used to be for radio. And all of it. So
but what do you mean availability?
For his interest as a station. Because remember,
forced him.
You are not forced.
As a part in your contract, because we have to go back to the trial as well.
Then also study your contract. Understand what it's in the contract. If the contract for the addendum, it's when I said I should go to the for 3 hours and they will pay you so much money and that's it. Go back.
But it's me now. I'm getting paid for the services that I've rendered. Let's put 2 scenarios here. Give a gig, let's go 40,000.
Exactly.
For whatever reason. But man, you stage city mina. I'm sungela. Le South mhlawumbe. Le push 16. Angeke ngisakwazi ukucover le gig ka 40,000. Ayikho into engikhompela ukuthi ngibe sentweni station because mina ngikhokhelwa ngomnikelo wami station.
And that's fine. And if that's what you choose to have as a relationship with the radio station, then that's fine. But Tina, Mrs. Peggy,
no, I'm not choosing.
Remember, you can build a stronger relationship over and above what you're doing, and it doesn't mean it has to be free. I don't know what
everything is on benefits and I'm because by the same phone give me muhle kule programs manager because ngiyayentela indlela yokuthi bese renew ama contracts angicabangeli.
I don't know what your plan is as a brand ukuthi ufuna ukukhula kangakanani, ufuna ukukhula which direction.
I can't tell that to you. You own that. Ufigile la, ufige whether we brand or usufige wakhula wa brand and you've seen other opportunities. I can't force that when. I need to allow you to be what Mauti, mean I'm a wife, so I'm not available if so I won't do amakethi because and it's quite clear I'm not available. And that's fine. Put that on your okay.
This is what I'm available.
I wouldn't say when there's a problem where you super personally, but it's no longer a professional need. Is it like get ever feelings are over favor with humble bambela who saw it so and tell me that to give a problem, get busy, got this cards.
But it's about personal guidance. If you're not available, so how many
saying I'm always not available.
Then it's clear for me which you are not available. And then those conversations form part of Mangabe's baby, it's okay. La ngibona ngathi wena good la. Relationship is izoqala iphele la and that's okay.
But nawe ngiyacabanga ukuthi uyibiza ngokuyinqengela. But mina ngiyacabanga ukuthi into yokuthi how do I grow myself as a sub brand la ngaphakathi. For me to add value, sonke sifuna uku-add value. Now as a program manager, kukhona izinto that I'll go over and beyond for because I want to ungiphethe abone ukuthi ngiyimisele ngomsebenzi wami and ngifuna ukukhula. Nanoma umuphi umsebenzi for that matter, whether it's an engineer, I think mawi misele ufuna ukuthi invest in the talent, not in you being the brand, because that being a brand can work for you outside my platform is another story. Lapho it's wonke umuntu ubheka ifuture yakhe, wonke umuntu uyayicabangela abheka ukuthi okay, mina nakula ngifuna ukuya khona, ngibheka icompetition futhi lengisebenza na, because I don't want us not to mention ukuthi at the end of the day compete la ngaphakathi. Uyabuka abantu osebenza nabo ukuthi hey nangu so and so, this is how they move, this is what they do, how can I get there? Not everyone's going to share that with you, but if you're lucky and you work with people like yazini ngibona ngathi unale talent awuzame lento when you seem to be good here yazini mangiyogika awuhambe nami ngifuna ukuthi there are partnerships that need to be developed inside sisodwa, but a program manager also plays a huge role in that because it's teamwork.
Kukhona ukuthi mhlawumbe bekuzothatha radio station uthola ukuthi influencer is social media. Follow up proper channels, but could be a pressure nje your social media and then you end up
I think now must bega how things are moving in the space. I think ikhona leyo yokuthi social media is in our influence. But I'd say again, ingaba khona leyo influence, but you are a programs manager. You've got the ultimate understanding of the uzosebenzisa kanjani.
Uyakwazi social media ukuthi ifake ingcindezi ukuthi hayi ngeke uplosa nele laba abantu ababili abathathu abangafuna uplosa ekufawule labanye ekufawule labanye sebeveza ukuthola.
Where has that taken us? Without highlighting a certain cases, where has that taken us, Msindo? Iyawubamba umsindo sekustage ukuthi i-reputational damage ibadila kanjani.
So ungakhohlwa ukuthi usubscribe kuba pages zethu ku Facebook. By the way, just check us ku Facebook. Sikhomanda abantu abaningi more than 2 million ku Facebook page yethu la update khona ngeindaba ezenzakala ezwenzakile. I understand ukuthi kusanele inga ye-MK the-ANC I wonder kuyowenzakalani. We can't wait for 29 of May. Hayi mina nje ngilindile bandla khona bathi yashintsha i-government yase-KZN. We do not know. Bakhona uDuma, bakhona oDuma nobahonje nobulawayo ke lo we-IFP kodwa bebekunile inkathi ezongena umphemba. Sibhekile bafethu sithule sibhekile thina sirelaxele ba coordinate. By the way, ngisahleli nozandile Tembe iguru radio. I understand ukuthi abantu bebelandela i-radio from way back zandile sahlala sasenzani konje lento yelanga letheku ulandela izinto ezinjalo no hip hop lelo njalo ngikubuza ngoPD ukuthi what's going on with PD because angilandeli lizazinto. I understand i-hip hop ngiyazwa uyithanda kakhulu, ngiyazwa vele wasanganela waqasha uBig Zulu banayo uBig Zulu banofana uZulu boy ukhozi zanje zanje lesidake and wadaba ngempela uZulu boy bahamba grand baphuma ayithi.
No, but he had the wawumthathela ukuthi unolwazi le genre. That was the whole thing. He'd been a TV presenter, so he had experience. But I guess Umpopo was not.
Hey, but I'm happy we were vindicated. Yeah, that was Zulu boy. Zulu boy. But anyway, yeah. But it's in take your common changes. Ends are like man. Glenn Lewis. But yeah, FM from a national radio station to Angaz
I've got a soft spot for regional radio stations. I think they've got greater potential manje than before, because ukuba national platform, yes, footprint yakho lalelwa abantu abaningi. But I love niche markets because asinikeza i-variety ukuthi okay, if I want this is where I'll go. Sometimes more laleli stations nabantu abaningi kuba khona yonke ihlobo lento, sometimes ubona ukuthi okay, you have 10 minutes, I'm like, who are they talking to? You understand? And if you look at the history of radio, especially how stations in the metro came about. After, of course, if you look at our Bob radio, Radio Bob, there's a dish like kids. Yeah, there's a dish that's okay. It says a lot about demographics in terms of pattern the profile. Yabantu asebelalela umsakazo manje. Yabo abantu abasasaba ukuthi mina, this is who I am and I want a platform that represents me. So this disruption for me, I'm excited. Yeah, excited ukubona abantu beshiya ama-platform esasiyitshela ukuthi wonke umuntu ufuna ukuya khona. But it says a lot about also abasakazi asebezazi ukuthi bawoba, because bayazi ukuthi la ngiya khona ngiyokhuluma nomuntu vele ufuna ukungilalela. They understand? I'm not trying to be something new, something fresh, something happening. No pun go fresh, but ngiyayithanda, and I'm hoping, which I'd like to see. I saw some platforms trying to do it, but I think we create more space for new talent, for a new voice, for the new kind of listener. Whether we do this by giving them a platform, or siba pair with talent lakdala, it's something I think lapo sisale kakhulu.
Yeah,
depends. They are people that can.
But aware would call them bangazwani. Sizwe nase radio. This one
ngiyenzeka nami nganga experience.
To double check ukuthi if usithatha usizwe sithi angasakaze noZandile, simply because banayo the understanding when vele kusukela ama strangers.
No, they're not strangers, they're radio people. By virtue of being radio people, bias what is expected of radio. But if there's going to be a harmonious working relationship off air and on air, you have to take a chance. You can never be at radio ungenayo risk element. Tatoma risk lab. You need to innovate. You need to back your story up. I've taken decisions where I was like, but my vision was, okay, if I could pull someone like this will happen. That's how radio operates. This is a future. There's people we used to say, hey, this one is going to be a future of something.
By the way, I'm president.
So I wouldn't know. So I don't know. But that voice is a voice that I think Isafuna Uguti is you. There's just legacy voices on radio. Glenn Lewis is one of those people that they bring.
You take about DJ Fresh. I want to call it a missile, without Fresh.
Of course, people like Fresh is there, Sebadinga, radio, but also they don't hang the mic. Yes, it's a podcast platform, but I think Basanayo reach. Basanayo indawo yokuthi benze izinto and other things that we don't talk about is politics or radio. It's akudlala lapha akudlala nje now.
Yes, before she conclude nje ngiyazi ukuthi my executive producer complain, but ngifuna sicheke those things ngicela nje by all means ingangibalekeli le question, but into engicathi kuyenze odakha abaningi kuthiwa we programs manager but ungasiyo ne programs manager, now you know very well ukuthi yegama nje lokuthi we programs manager but umsakazo no site le inhlelo akuwena were you in charge?
But I was in charge at some point. But zashintsha izinto. As a program manager, vele
you can never be 100% in charge.
Yeah.
Because all yours is to innovate and then those you motivate.
So we are proposing now.
Yeah, you do propose, whether it's a lineup or whether it's the programming. It's a pity programming because lineup.
Yeah.
Because
Australians,
yeah,
this fully understand.
because
That's what you first understand. Then to say in Emakai, then to say Motuin, you understand. And my I understand it hurts.
Programming is the cornerstone of radio. So what is programming? Ukuhleleka kwenhlelo in a way that will captivate umlaleli. So who is your mlaleli? Makufika ama-BRC Rams as a program manager.
Do you spend time
So
and
you know
study
BRC
them?
Rams.
It's ile research enziwayo ukucheck ukuthi abantu balalelani yini abayilalela kakhulu.
So do you spend time with their research reports understand ukuthi ithi i-wave yomlaleli ishona ngakuphi? Because ayitsheli kuphela ukuthi umlaleli ulalelani ukuthi uthanda neradweni. Itshela nange-lifestyle yakhe ukuthi isishintshe kangakanani. So wena as a platform, yini oyenzayo to fill that gap, to complement i-lifestyle yomlaleli wakho? Because once wayibamba lapho, then you will know what kind of on-air voices you need.
LSMs.
Yeah, not so much. LSMs are just an industry tool. And all of that, which is another argument. But just and then I phone to apply it's just to look, just browse through. Oh, okay, oh, okay, move from it. Okay, youth. Okay, youth.
Yeah.
That's programming. Like youth kule audience enginayo yini engingayiniki mina youth, if it's youth that you're gunning for, if it's the woman listener that you want, yini engingabanika yona abazoyithola, ubani ozoprovide leyo. So
manje ngokwe on air
personality uba unani uyakwazi unayo uyamkeleka kulolo hlobo lomlaleli lo muntu.
Ake senze examples of practical. Chili M may he so rest in peace. Chili M wing because we'll buy wing objects of bed vis-a-vis about BS whatever.
Yeah. So here's the luck that Chili M had, and that is what commercial radio does, and that's what YFM did for a lot of abantu abagcina besimama we-industry. They invested in understanding ukuthi ubani audience and who's going to reflect that audience. They were trained also a lot. They were trained in how to attract an audience, but they were also trained to how to attract umuntu ozospenda imali. Again, like a programs manager, njengomsakazi. No, yomlaleli phela. No way they are. Chile M used to go hostel, ayothembisa afike nalabantu agcwele nabo studio. Because he understood ukuthi ngokwe lifestyle yakhe nendlela akhuliswe ngayo, akaphilanga lapho. But ukuze lo muntu amsondeze fanele abe seduze.
But then the programs manager finally relax.
But like, that's talent management.
In a technician, it's mean okay. Sometimes creativity yakhe kube ibanjwa programs manager. Sometimes
Possibly,
no. Khuluma kwakhe no asimdingi, understand. Sengishintshe kanjalo. And then uchili emuseyalibala. Chili namantombazana mangayi nomsindo and all this stuff.
You need to be a creative as a programs manager. Yeah, but if players
as well, yeah.
Exactly. But you have to be a creative. Kona who are very technically inclined, so they are very sound driven. They want a certain sound, so that's their strength. I know me content by virtue of how I got into it. Content for me is king. So but understand the creatives, and luckily for me, because of my media background, I worked with creatives. I worked with people in the entertainment space. So reading stimuli for born. But studio, obviously people can't just, so how do you support that? How do you how do you support it by managing it so that it's not at the detriment of the brand? So it's trying to balance that, allow people to be creative, to be innovative, to feel the freedom that they're supposed to feel behind the mic, kodwa business imperatives. So it's a very dynamic space, and I lulu ukuthi kube into ngavele ungavuka ekuseni uyenze.
Do you think you wayenza justice yona okhosini before exit?
I think I delivered go yonke into engangiyithembisile.
Ngicela
u6 million ngashiya ku8.
Yakhumbula futhi ukuthi wafika kanjani?
Lu6 ngashiya ku8.
Abantu
Audience.
abangena buying power.
Some of them didn't have buying power, but I also had a turnaround strategy for ilokhuzana for revenue. I changed my campaigns that had been there to be revenue generating.
Yazi ukumbuza umuntu walithiwa umlamuli nqele ewaye nesibindi ne.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yewavela shinteni ilogo yenu. Uyabona umuntu wenza the unthinkable. I respect that guy, heads off to him. Usuku lesibindi ufana nomlamuli wa introduce izinto zoma mix volume. But khona into engicabanga ukuthi ube active kuyona. I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong. Le Winnie.
Oh, the Winnie Mahlangu, female presenter
stage.
It is a very good platform. If you have a plan.
Because ngempela ushintsho salidinga kodwa ukuthi sidiscuss ukuthi bathola yini ama programs are relevant. Those people sengabona
usuku ukuthi intention mhlawumbe sekwashintsha ke no ukuthi isiyenzani manje from the time yaqala ngayo.
I know that ngicathi wenza umsebenzi omuhle okhosini yini currently busy ngayo
because kuninganyana. I'm spending time with my children.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I am still yes, she's a grown girl now. She's a grown girl who is in the same space I'm in from a branding perspective, but I'm still involved with radio from an empowerment training and coaching perspective. I'm also in other media spaces from a corporate side. Yeah.
Then you relax kanjani busy schedule sakho? Ngakho ngithi 6 months ngimfundi uzandile ngamtholi.
I go to gym a lot.
But surprisingly besihlangane echini.
Now nje relaxation uyayazi ile ukuthi ngihlala ejimini and I like spending time alone.
Yazi abantu abathule ihip hop. eThekwini ekubazini ngihlele ngicabanga wena wayenza manje sistory ngolomisuku uzama kakhulu lapha kuyiphephi ilanga leThekwini
because usifaka
ngiyayibona leyanto uzinje ile
yasifika kumase siwo yo
I think washeshe wa introduce kuthini so yeah no asebenza kodwa ngoba baningi abantu aba-introduce amanye industry especially ne-entertainment I think ubambe likhulu iqhaza abanye abantu abangazi understand waye-elevator wayokhosini waproducer ama-programs akho relevant but-ke angibanga yikho ngengoma ehlukanisa unyaka ngesikhathi sakho khona la isakhala khona I don't know noma kwakuFandam noma kwakubani noma kwakugospel noma kwakubani
yes, I was still there.
You were still there?
Yes.
Yeah, now one of my culprits. Understand that? I think if I devise any mechanism, you
can we talk about facts? Do you remember what the Fandam Ngoma ehlukanisa unyaka was the collaboration SABC Esasienza no famous Owen.
Yeah.
So the mechanics were quite different then. And stories were
no mina bengikhuluma ngo-device i-mechanism proper.
Yeah.
Ngisho general.
Yeah.
Because it looks like nonsense is a platform nje khona. It looks like ayisebenzi leyo ukuthi abantu bavote. Because kuvele kuvotela I think iminyaka isiwu2 manje. Uthole ngokwami ngikhumbula khona. Vele kuvotela ngempela ingoma wazi izwe. Understand leyo kuvotela ingoma wazi izwe kasemadala Judeni uyayazi artist but awayazi
ukuthi stage wena mhlawumbe basobedlala ku stage.
Leyo ngoma no khona buthathi mhlawumbe ayidlali ngempela ayidlali ngempela estation sengisho ukuthi ingoma ehlukanisa unyaka I common sense of dictators maybe we high rotation Understand? Angazi, I know not about kakhulu lezo zinto technical, but ucabanga ukuthi kunde i-high rotation wonke umuntu assumption 70% wabantu I believe bayazi leyo ngoma.
What do you deem as high rotation? Is it something as a station or is it something elalelwa abantu on the ground emcimbini?
It's a station abantu bayalalela even eindaweni zabo something bengivula uTikTok leso sikhathi lengoma lezongena bengihlale 30 minutes ku TikTok there's no way ukuthi ingaqhamuka. Understand?
I think you're raising ezinye izinto for me mina esengibona innovation ikuzona but ngeke ngize ngizisho la.
Parting shots.
May the radio gods be with everyone. Radio. The truth is, yes, Gashinch isn't.
Who hates what?
I'm not hurt, I'm disappointed. Enjoy cool content elayo maybe ifiso zami ukuthi mhlambe khona la yakhona mhlambe khona la sokuzophela abantu basavaleliswa kwamanje abakashitsheli bayapi ngoba okunye fanele ukushiyele kwi platform owner ukuthi kube iyona show so manje sibona ivaleliso nezikhalazo
ubani wakujabulisa bezokwenza u629 emetro
in the morning ubalonzo u12 to 3 what's this Sabi I think Sebi. Yeah, I think Sebi get nesting so uqasha lapha he's for me he should be the current Metro FM voice. Sebi is good.
Good kakhulu.
Yeah, Sebi is really good.
Bela kumbulo TVM uSebi. Isenetha ngekho kuleyo level kodwa
he get there.
Yeah, usemncane anyway.
No, Sebi is good. I'd easily give
69 recalls.
Usizwe is on and off, but I think he's really good. I'd really pair him with a very strong female voice, young voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd pair him. I think he's well read.
Manje wamani ba?
Uba.
Usizwe.
Podcast, yes, yeah.
So 3 to 6 Metro?
That's too many men.
Oh, 3 to 6 Metro. Manje uTibo
Touch. I'm curious to see that partnership work out. Yeah,
no, Look Love.
Yeah, I like Look Love. I think.
But just was trying in this case sokuthi I name drop uTibo Touch.
They'll have to find a way. Ileta tuisho ukuthi I'm a program manager zakabanga kanjani when they put people together. I'm sure in Metro ikhabe khona igephe khona abazoyivala ngoLook Love. Let's
relax. Abanye ama-answers abewashaya. Manje wena contextualize everything. Okay, 629 Ukhozi.
629 exam.
By the way, uSipho Mbathu sewumfundisi.
I know that.
Yeah, and then 629 Ukhozi.
Is it possible that I'm commenting Ukhozi?
Because it's not.
No, I'm commenting line after Ukhozi.
Okay, 3 to 6 Ukhozi. Ngiyazi uhappy ngo Self Beyonce, ne?
Why would you ask happy ngo Self Beyonce?
Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi omunye womuntu wangena station ngama efforts nakhona nawe futhi ngancoma kakhulu kuba brave kwakho Ukhozi lesikhuluma ngalo I understand but into bengilalela Ukhozi manje the way aba embrace ngayo uSelf Beyonce and all the stuff into ebengayicabanga ukuthi ingenzeka but wayenza yenzeka.
Mina Ukhozi ngingathanda nje ukuthi ngiyabonga isilungisa content itself. I think they still have a lot of good talent.
Yeah.
Placed right, supported right, with the right content.
Were you a good manager though?
I tried.
Then do what I would do it, please take pictures. See you in 7.
Thank you very much.